All right, so creating a workout routine, the one that works for you. So when you're creating a workout routine, you need to consider certain things. So the first thing you need to consider is, what are your goals? So a lot of people have different goals. Some people want to lose weight. Other people want to build muscle. People don't really have a very specific goal in terms of like weight loss or muscle building. They just want to feel good, look good. They want to be healthy and just improve their general fitness. There's nothing wrong with any of these, but you really need to get clear on what you're trying to accomplish so that you know what your routine needs to consist of to get you to that point. Next thing you need to figure out is, how much time do you have? I think people struggle with this the most because they overestimate how much time they have and how much time they actually want to dedicate to working out, because they feel like they need to work out every single day for X amount of hours. So really get clear and be realistic on how much time you can dedicate and how much time you want to dedicate. Then you also need to figure out how often you can actually work out. So the question I like to ask my clients is, how many times a week do you think you can work out on your busiest week or your worst week? Once you figure out that number, then you can say, I'm going to work out that many times. I'm going to make sure I work out that many times. And then anything more than that is a win. So for me, I know I can work out at least 4 times a week on my worst week, my busiest week. So that's what I aim for. If I work out 5 times a week, great. If I work out 6 times a week, that's even better. But I'm aiming for 4. And I think once you start to get consistent with whatever number it is that you choose, then you can start adding more days. But you don't want to set yourself up for failure from jump, because then you're not going to follow the program. If you guys have questions, drop them in the comments. I have access to the comments on here. All right, so like I said, figure out how much time you have, how long you want your workouts to be. Can you work out 3 days a week for 30 minutes or only 20 minutes each day? Can you only work on the weekends? Do you want to work out 3 times a week for 1 hour? These are all options. There's not one that's better than the other. You just have to figure out what's going to work for you, your schedule, your lifestyle, and what you want to accomplish. Step 3, where do you want to work out at? So if you don't have a gym membership, it's totally fine. So you can work out at home. You can work out outside, especially like with the weather being nice. It's pretty dope to get a workout in outside. So figure out where you're going to work out, because this is going to determine what kind of workouts you do. If you're going to work out at home, do you have the equipment? Are you just going to do body weight stuff? If you're going to work out outside, are you going to go to a track? Are you going to be doing running? Are you going to be using like bleachers or stairs? Different workouts for different places. It doesn't really matter where you work out as long as you're getting it in, but you need to know where you're going to work out so you can formulate a routine based off of that. Or just dance salsa. Yes, exactly. If you want to do Zumba classes, if you want to put on YouTube and do some hip hop dance classes, that's all good. You just have to figure out what you want to do. I know you love those Zumba classes. All right, next. So once you figure out all those things, you really don't have a reason not to work out. And the number one reason people don't exercise is because they say they don't have time for it. So now that you figured out what your goals are, how often you're going to work out, like how much time you're going to dedicate to it, and where you're going to work out, you literally don't have that excuse no more. So I don't want to hear that. So you figured out all these things. You don't have an excuse. So what do you do next? So now you can figure out what exercises you want to include in your routine. So any routine needs to have at least one exercise for each body part. You might focus on certain body parts more than others, depending on what your goal is. But each exercise routine, no matter where it is, if it's outside, inside the gym, at home, it should have an exercise for your quads, which is your thigh muscle, your butt and your hamstrings, so the back of your legs, your chest, your shoulders, your triceps. These are all muscles you use to push things. Or hear people refer to exercises as pushing exercises. They're typically talking about an exercise that involves your chest, shoulders, or triceps. Then you need your pulling muscles, so your back, your biceps, and things you use to grip. And then lastly, core, so your abs and your lower back. So as long as you have these exercises, as long as you have exercises that involve these muscle groups, you have a pretty well-rounded routine. So you may be thinking, wow, that has to be a lot of exercises if you're trying to cover your entire body. But really, if you focus on compound exercises, you'll be able to hit all these muscle groups in about 4 to 5 exercises. So it's not really a lot. So you may be thinking, what are compound exercises? So compound exercises are exercises that involve multiple big muscle groups. So the best one I could think of is a squat. So when you're squatting, you're using your quads, you're using your strings, you're using your core to, sorry, I'm reading the comments. You're using your core to stabilize yourself. If you're squatting with weight, you're either holding it in front, if you're using your arms to do your, if you want to back squat, you're holding it on your back. So you're utilizing a lot of your back muscles. So this squat is usually hitting all those muscle groups. These are other examples of compound exercises. So lunges, push-ups, rows, deadlifts, bench press, pull-ups. All these exercises are compound exercises, and you want to make sure they're in your program because they require you to use a lot of muscles at once. So you're going to burn a lot more calories. It's going to be a lot more fatiguing on your body. So it's going to be a lot better for you if you want to achieve certain goals and do it in a time efficient way. So let's see. All right, so I figured I'd give you guys a couple of exercises for each muscle group. So for your quads, also, side note, you might notice that some of these exercises cater to different muscle groups. So for example, the squats involve not only your quads, but also your hamstrings and your glutes, like your butt muscles. So depending on the variation, you might be able to target one muscle over the other, but for this general knowledge, your quads, you're gonna do squats, lunges, or step ups. For the muscles in the back of your leg, like your hamstrings and your glutes, squats, lunges, step ups, like I said, but also then you throw in deadlifts, hip thrusts. Those are gonna target the back of your leg. Then when it comes to your chest, shoulders, and triceps, push-ups are good. Any bench press variations or overhead pressing variations, those are all going to target those muscles. Then your back, your biceps, and grip muscles. So these are muscles you use to pull things. So chin-ups, pull-ups, rows, these are all going to cater to those muscles. And then when you talk about your core, most people think of core as just their abs, like their superficial abs. Like when you go to the beach and you see somebody like a six-pack, there's other muscles that go into your core. So it's not just the superficial ones you see. So muscles that kind of help to stabilize your lower back, you're gonna do exercise that help with that. So planks, dead bugs, mountain climbers, just to name a few. There's thousands of exercises out there, but these are just a couple. And you want to make sure you're choosing one exercise from each muscle group. So I put together a 3-day sample program. So these are basically one exercise from each category put into a program. This is how I usually start off people that are like new to lifting. So just a full body program, no splitting body parts yet. So day 1, you're gonna do squats, deadlifts, push-ups, cable rows, and planks. Day 2, you're gonna do reverse lunges, hip thrusts, shoulder press, bent over rows, and the side plank. And then day 3, step ups, RDLs, bench press, cable rows again, probably a different variation and then a dead bug. So this seems very simple, but it literally doesn't need to be more complicated than this. If you follow this workout program, you'll see a lot of progress, whether it's weight loss, building strength, or just feeling good. You'll see a lot of progress with this one. So if you focus on these basic movements and get really strong at these, really good at them, master them, you're gonna see progress no matter your goal. And then if you wanted to progress them or change it up, if you wanted to progress them or change it up, then you'll just swap different exercises out, and then you can start getting into, as you get really proficient at these and the exercises start becoming easy, the workout plan starts to become easy, you can then talk about doing like a different workout split, changing up the rep schemes, changing up the rest times. But the exercises are always going to be kept very simple. It's just how you manipulate them. A Romanian deadlift is a variation of a deadlift, which is basically, I'll show you, you can see my screen. My booty's sweating. All right. A Romanian deadlift is basically starting with the bar here, lowering the bar down, and coming back up. That's a Romanian deadlift. It's just a variation of a deadlift. All right. Any other questions? That's all I got for today. Quick little talk about creating a routine. If you guys have questions about maybe your routine, if you want me to take a look at it, give you advice, or help you create your own, just message me. If you guys are watching this at another time, feel free to drop the questions in the comments and I'll get back to you. Tag somebody that you think this would be helpful for.